It is a brand new episode of Hockey and Hounds, as always, brought to you by Ticketmaster. Make more memories live to discuss some of the week of hockey and some great Hounds. And we got a great dog for everybody this week. We are joined once again by the Flyers head coach, John Tortorella. Torts, how are you?
Very good. Yourself?
I'm doing really well. I just got a chance to watch the video that the team put out of the hockey moms being with you guys. And I know it was a little over a week ago, but watching that, and having my own hockey mom and my wife being a hockey mom, boy, the moms around, it's just a different vibe, isn't it?
Yeah, they were. I think when they're around, I think the players, I think they're more confident. When dads are around, and we're all, you and I are dads, I think they're always coaching them. I think there's a little bit of different pressure. I didn't get to say hello to all of them. It gets so busy for me, and they're running around with their boys and all. But it turned into being a really good trip. We had Lotz's mom and Coots' mom read the lineup. They won the first game, so they had to come back in and do the second game. I know the boys had a blast, and it was good to have them. It was fun.
Yeah, the moms will ground you, and they're the ones for athletes that can build up confidence in a good way without pressure.
Yeah.
And maybe that's exactly what your team needed at that exact moment. You go to Boston, get a win for the first time since 2011, for goodness sake.
Who knows? I walk by them, and I'm not sure what they're thinking when they look at me, and I'm the one that maybe disciplined their son, or maybe I'm treating them unfair. I always kind of wonder what the moms think when we kind of cross paths. So I just kind of kept a low profile, but it was a great trip, and hopefully we can do it again.
You're in the third year now, and towards I feel like I'm really starting to notice some guys as part of that subtraction process that you talked about early on that needed to take place. It's opened up a lot of air for leadership, and there's a few guys in particular that I think have taken even more steps in that direction. TK signs the contract in the offseason. I always wonder how that contract's going to affect a player that sets him up for life. Boy, it hasn't affected him in the beginning of the year. Same thing with Travis Sanheim, another guy that they lead in different ways, but you've got yourself some leaders there. It's really emerged. How's that process over the now 2+ years for you?
Yeah. I think with TK, I think he's proud of that. He comes in as a young player, goes through the process with some of the older players above him, trying to teach him. I think he was playing with Mishkov earlier this year. I think he tried to take him under his wing as a line mate and help him. They're not playing together now, but I think he's taking some of that rope and trying to help a young player that doesn't speak well. Sanny, he's at a cusp right now, and where his game's gone to and how he has improved from my first year coaching him to now. I'm hoping, like I went to him, it was last week, I said, you have a right to say anything you want in this locker room. You have a right to stop me from talking in this locker room and stepping up and saying anything you want to say. I don't think he's built that way, but the way he presents himself now is totally different from what it was the first year. He has turned into a really good player. We're hoping the offense comes from it too. But he does. He has a right to say whatever he wants to anybody at any time, as far as I'm concerned, because I think he's gone through that process and has become a leader that way.
And he's earned it. With him, I just see a guy that holds himself so accountable. Like, you can see guys that don't have true accountability to themselves. He just looks like a guy that is probably just as tough on him as you are.
Yes. And he just has the all business look. He practices hard. It doesn't say a lot, right? And I don't think he's ever going to be that type of leader as far as stepping up in the middle of a room. I would like for him occasionally, because I think it would be so effective, because he doesn't say much. But when he does say something, kind of like the commercial, everybody listens. I hope he picks his spots that way, because I think it would be really effective and very beneficial to our team as we continue to grow.
one of the other guys that you obviously count on the lead is your captain, Sean Couturier. Go back to October 15th. He played under 10 minutes in that game against the Oilers and McDavid. His usage has certainly climbed. He's had a 24-minute game. And I always say judge what a coach thinks about a player on how he uses them, not what he says about them. Where's Couturier right now? Are you surprised that he's been able to kind of flip a little bit of a switch here?
Yeah.
And really turn his game up?
Yeah. Surprised. I don't know if that's the word, but I know Sean and I had many conversations early in the year when the minutes weren't there. And, the basis of that conversation was quite honestly, people were playing better. And there's not a lot of, you don't have to read through any of the things I do. It's pretty much self-explanatory in how we do it. And that's where it was. Sean wanted to play more. And, but I thought people were playing better. Him and I had a 20, 25-minute conversation. I can't tell you what was said in there, but we didn't agree on a whole hell of a lot. We didn't agree on anything. But probably from a few days after that to now, he's played that well. And, I still like to see him finish more. He's had some chances and he hasn't finished. I think a number of our guys have gone that way. But I can't play him 24 minutes. I can't. I'll bury him. I need someone else to step up. But he deserves it's just the way it works. If you play well, you're going to get more minutes. If you don't, you're not going to get the minutes. Everybody around me is asking questions, why this and that. It's pretty self-explanatory when it comes to minutes on ice. It's because I trust you. And if you're not getting the ice, you're not playing well, and I don't trust you. And plain and simple.
He's found something, too, with Konechny and now Tippett as well, the way that line kind of complements each other. Three very different players in the way they approach it. Why is it working?
Yeah, I don't know. I tried, I was trying Mish, Coots, and TK. I wanted that to work because I thought there was real chemistry between Mish and TK. That dried up, and we kind of threw it around, and we tried Tip there. I tried a number of people, and then this line kind of took off. Having put that line together, and then I put Lots, Bobby Brink, who has been in and out of the doghouse with me and simply playing better and getting more minutes. Bobby Brink and Beezer. I put them together, and really those are the two lines that have kind of solidified us here the past week and a half, and where we've kind of found our way to play better. So you don't know. And if any coach tells you because he does this or he does that, they're lying to you, because you just don't know what's going to happen when you put people together.
Yeah, you can hope it's going to be good, and
sure,
your skill sets match, but it doesn't. You really don't know until you see the chemistry.
No, you don't.
What's it been about Brink and Farabee for you of late? Is it just the fact of how much they're moving their legs?
You know what's and they show up on the tape a lot because we've been talking a lot about puck support. I think that's hurt our offense early in the year. I think it's helped us regain ourselves a little bit and spending more time in the offensive zone. They're all over the tape whenever we show, a little bit of a contrast of how not to do it and how to do it. And you have Bobby Brink and Beezer just always supporting one another. They're always close to the puck together. If Beezer's wide, Bobby's coming over there and supporting that play for maybe a chip or a little play to him. And they've just kind of worked well off of one another. And Lots is kind of the foundation of the line, the center who takes faceoffs, who bangs away, a forechecker. And they've just found a little bit of chemistry here. And how long it lasts, I don't know. It was just like Teak and Mish. I was hoping that was going to last longer, but you could see it fell right off the map, and we had to change it. So I hope we can stay with it here to get at least two lines consistently we have for the past couple of weeks. And
then you just worry about two other lines, and you don't have to worry about all four and the insane amount of tweaking you have to do in game and all of that. One thing that's helping you towards is the way you're exiting the zone. Emil Andre, we talked about Sanheim. Emil Andre has been a big part of that, to be generating now from the back end. Looks a little bit closer to what you guys were doing last year in transition, the way you're exiting the zone.
Yeah.
It just helps you guys so much, doesn't it?
Yeah. If you look at our chances the last 3 or 4 games, our chances for, I think we've been averaging like 17 or 18 a game, and probably 10 or 11 of those chances are coming off the rush. And we were a rush team last year.
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I think we didn't do the other stuff well enough. We're going to continue to work on that as we're growing in our rush chances here. Emil has a lot to do with that. I mean, we just posted the sheets this morning from our game against San Jose. He has 7 scoring chances. We have, I think, 20 of them. He's involved in 7 of them. 3 that he gets himself, and 4 that he basically created, getting us out of our end zone, making a play in the neutral zone, and getting us going off the rush. So he has been a pleasant surprise.
Great vision too, right?
Yeah. Great vision, and he's got some balls. He's not afraid to make a play in traffic. He's not afraid to fit it in there at certain times. I talked to him a little bit the last game against San Jose, and I got to be really careful. And this is the fun part of coaching for me, because I want to let him go, and we have let him go. But I think sometimes as I'm beginning to get to know him, he's a bit of a riverboat gambler, and it kind of gets good to him sometimes. And he thinks he's going to throw all the chips in the table, in the center of the table, every shift. Mm-hmm. There are some shifts he's got to just slow himself down and not force it. And so that's, I yelled to him down the end of the bench the other night. I said, hey, just play within yourself here too, just to remind him and not kick him to where he's just throwing it off the glass. That's the last thing we want him to do. So that's the fun part of coaching for me, these type of players. You want to give them that rope, and sometimes you just have to take a few of the twines back and then just get them settled again. And I love his demeanor, and I love his mindset.
Sometimes you don't have to end up on the film in a positive way on every shift. You can go out. You don't have to provide something offensive. Just don't let anything happen either in your end.
Sometimes the defenseman, if you're not seen, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah, but we want to see him, because you can see what he can bring to us with our transition, with our offense. So
his head's always moving towards. I mean, the head is just the pass he makes to Konechny, and I don't think TK was expecting it. Is why he didn't score on it. Because cross the seam through several guys. Tremendous stuff that we've seen out of him. Does he remind you a little bit of the early days of Zach Werenski?
I wish he had Z's height and body, but Z. I just let Z. I mean, I had Z and Seth Jones paired for 6 years. Yeah, right. And
set it and forget it.
Yeah, and I said go play, and I'd let them take over. It took a couple of years with me and Z that he had to play defense too. We had to teach him how to play defense, and we're going to have to with Andre. Andre has to play a little bit differently because he can't outmuscle people. He's just too small. Yeah. And so Shawzy's doing a lot of work with his stick and positioning and all that. Shawzy and I did the same thing with Z, but Z was a rover, and we just let him go. I was fortunate to have him, and I had Danny Boyle earlier in my career. Mm-hmm. They weren't defensemen; they were rovers. Now, is this a guy that could do it? I don't know. He just called up. He's played some good games. He'll settle eventually here, but he's still going this way. And so I'm anxious to see what he becomes.
I like those guys that play defense when you're defending, but they'll play offense when you're not defending.
Yes, yes. Quite honest, we're not getting enough from our D. We felt all through the year. Sandy's been up the ice, but we haven't seen enough from Jamie. We just haven't. It hasn't produced offensively for us. And the other guys just haven't been up the ice enough. So bringing in Andre, and we kind of stumble upon it, right? We weren't sure if he was ready to play. And now he comes up here and shows us what he is. And I hope it continues, because it's a really important part of us creating offense.
You can get that offense from the blue line, sometimes that secondary scoring. I said on the podcast the other day that maybe you got tertiary scoring, tertiary scoring. Because you get one from Garney. You get one from Hathaway, and then in the last game against San Jose, you open up the scoring early in the first period. EJ gets a goal. Erik Johnson streaking down the right side after a nice pass, I believe, from Ryan Paley. Yeah, that scoring helps you in a huge way.
Huge. And then the next shift he goes out and fights someone to take care of Mish.
He may want to go with Delarier a little bit and get a couple of lessons. He's been around a long time. He didn't look like he knew what he was doing there, Torres.
Yeah, I told him, and then the kid he fought is a pretty tough kid. Yeah. And I said, Johnny, high marks, because we talked about the teenagers when we had Luch here, we have Mish. I said, no one touches the teenagers. And he stepped right in. I said, I appreciate it, but just be careful, because it's a pretty tough kid he was fighting, and that's kind of not his job, but he felt he needed to step in. The boys give him the hard hat after the game. Yeah. Well deserved. So coming up on his 1,000th game, So all good stuff for EJ.
How important is it to have him here? I think for young players trying to make their way, he's a former #1 overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot that comes with that. That can buckle a young athlete early in his career. Having that as a resource for guys, and he's so willing to talk to everyone. I just think he's like a fountain.
He's been already for me. Him and I have had many conversations, and I've kind of put him on to people to talk to and try to help him. Mishkov is one of them.
Yep.
He's had conversations with him. He's a very important guy, as Mark Stahl was, for that conduit to the locker room. And I didn't think he would be playing this much this year so early, but he's coming in and played some good hockey for us.
Yeah, he can jump in and give you some really good minutes.
Yep.
Torts, let me give you a really good dog. We have a absolute beauty this week. I don't know I always wonder who names the dogs, but this dog has got a great name. So we're going to give you the video first and let the dog introduce itself. Here you go.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash.
This is Johnny Cash coming to us from Philly PAWS.
Oh, my God.
He seems like he's prancing to the music.
Oh, that's Johnny Cash and Spanky and the gang. What was the dog's name in that show?
In the Three Rascals?
Yeah, the Little Rascals. What was it? God,
It wasn't the dog Spanky?
Was it Spanky? No, Spanky was one of the actors.
Because Alfalfa was the kid with the hair sticking up.
Oh, I forget the name. But look at that animal.
Yeah, unbelievably beautiful.
Oh gosh.
All right, the dog and the rat, Pete the pup.
Petey
the pup. Yep, with the circle around the eye.
Yes.
Pete's been gone since 1946. Can you believe it?
My word.
Yeah, but this dog wants to walk the line. Look at this.
You kind of fast forward to how it started. He looked pretty beat up in one of those pictures there.
Yeah, he came in with an injury towards. We don't know. Only a year old. I'm hoping that's the only injury that this dog had to sustain in its young life so far. But all healed up now. But I think there's a little bit of reticence to Johnny Cash here in kind of how they deal with people and how they deal with other pets maybe early on.
Yeah. He looked that one picture you said how it started.
Mm-hmm.
He just looked like he had no life. I'm not sure if you can show it. Yeah, you don't have to show it again.
Up here, yeah.
But it just looked like he was just, I mean, look at that animal.
He was dirty too.
Now.
Yeah. Look at him now, all cleaned up. Yeah. Got the toys going. Great build too.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely beautiful dog.
How can't you adopt this dog?
Yeah.
1 year old. Very quiet, right? Likes to be inside. Probably who knows what happened to him and is just trying to find its way as far as how he's supposed to be a dog. Sometimes people don't allow the dog to be a dog. So they never give us information on what happened. I guess that's probably the best thing to do.
Yeah.
But, oh, boy.
Yeah, it's an introvert. They're saying he's introverted right now. Seems to be a low-pace pup who isn't very outdoorsy, at least not now. That may change. So he'd be great for someone looking for a companion around the house, not necessarily looking for a dog that needs a ton of or wants a ton of exercise, loves his toys, loves to cuddle up and pile on the toys when he sleeps, even his hard chew bones. They say his funniest trait is that he's quite the active dreamer. And I love when dogs dream because they start twitching.
Yeah.
I wonder what they're dreaming about.
Yeah, I wonder what this one's dreaming about. And you wonder if he was just stuck inside. Was he caged all the time because he doesn't like being outdoors? And I know we were talking about off air. With another dog, you wonder if that would bring out some person, because you can see he has personality.
Yep.
He's trotting so proudly there in one of those clips.
Yeah, got the chest out and everything.
Yeah. You wonder if he goes with another dog. Have they checked him with another dog?
They're in that process now to see how he'll assimilate. And if you want to go look at Johnny Cash and go and you have a dog, you bring the dog with you and see how they get on. That's a big part of it too. So we've got to find Johnny Cash a home. We got to get him out of the Folsom Prison Blues. I can drop 1,000 different Johnny Cash songs. Maybe if you have a dog named June Carter Cash, that'd be a perfect companion.
Don't start.
I'm on and on, aren't I? PAWS is still learning more about Johnny and would feel and how he would feel about living with other animals, but they're very optimistic he will do well with a confident, patient buddy to encourage him to come out of his shell a bit as well. So we'll keep everybody kind of abreast of that.
That's a foster, right? Maybe a foster is a try at that, you
Yep.
know, just to see how he does.
Yeah, that's kind of like dating before you put the ring on, you know?
Yeah.
All the adoption info is at the Hockey and Hounds homepage. Visit philadelphiaflyers.com/hockeyandhounds. And for Johnny Cash, if you go there, click through the PAWS page, and there's a link to his foster parents' Instagram where you can see even more of him. So he is being fostered.
Okay, so he is being fostered.
And they have an Instagram. That is awesome.
Oh,
that is A+ fostering.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, check him out. Johnny PD Cash. Oh,
I want to know who named him because
Yeah.
they get a pair of tickets to an upcoming Flyers game.
yeah.
Also coming up, for PAWS, Love City Brewing is hosting a pet food foundation drive, donation drive to support PAWS, the pet food pantry this Sunday, November 17th, noon to 4 p.m. There's going to be a raffle items and information for how to get involved with PAWS, and anybody who brings dog or cat food, wet or dry, and or litter will receive free raffle tickets based on how much you bring. Love City Brewing is located at 1023 Hamilton Street in Philadelphia. So get out there this weekend as well. And let's find Johnny Cash a great home because this dog's got a lot of life in front of it. And I just, the eyes on the dog are just killing me.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I just, that before and after, and that's what these people are so, I mean, I've gone through and toured at PAWS. This is when Coffee Cake was there.
Yeah.
And we've gone through there with those great people. What these people do for these dogs when they come in so beat up and maybe just totally discouraged. You know, that dog looked discouraged.
Yeah.
And how quickly they get them to recuperate so they have a chance to really show who they are, to find a real home, a forever home.
Well, I can't wait. I know we're going to be hearing very soon that Johnny Cash has got a home. So, again, get all the info on philadelphiaflyers.com/hockeyandhounds and check out that Instagram through the PAWS page for the foster parents' Instagram and get even more photos and videos of the great Johnny Cash. Torts, have a great week. We'll talk next week as we get closer and closer to Thanksgiving. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks, Chase. Good seeing you, bud.